Hour. Hello, and welcome to the Horror Hour, the place where we discuss, debate, and disagree on all things horror. Today, though, we're doing something slightly different. We're discussing a psychological thriller called Anatomy of a Scandal. And to help review this with me, today I have the one and only George.
Good evening, or actually, no, good morning when this is coming out. Good morning, everybody.
This is a good morning. Yes, it is an evening for us, but it's a morning for you. Um, you. Yes. So today we are going to review one of the newest Netflix psychological thrillers. It is a psychological thriller and gripping courtroom drama. The series infiltrates Britain's elite through personal and political scandal, where the truth lies between justice and privilege.
Dun dun dun, and it's based on a book.
It is based on a book. It is also starring. It's going to be a limited series. It's starring Sienna Miller, Michelle Dockery, Rupert Friend, and Naomi Scott. So what we'll do, we'll go through what we liked, what we didn't like. Obviously, this is spoiler free, so no worries about anything being spoiled. And then we will give it a rating. So to start us off, George, what did you like?
Well, obviously, you had watched. I think you and Yutaka were already watching this before I started watching it. And so
Yes.
you were all like going, oh, episode 4, oh, episode 6, like you were going about this thing. And I was like, oh, I will get around to it. And this show was very, very binge worthy for me anyway. I watched this in one night, I believe. I think maybe I watched, actually, no, there was maybe one episode that I had to watch the next day, but I think I pretty much watched all 6 episodes. No, I think I did watch it all in a day. I think I started like 2 o'clock. So I really liked this film. It was very gripping. The elements, the end of each episode had me wanting more of the next one, which I think is great. And it's always great when it does that. And you can watch the next one, Netflix. I hope that, I'm scared that one day they'll do what the other ones are doing. Like, we're releasing it weekly, and I'll be like, no, ma'am. Because
not be happy.
No. So yeah, I think the show is very, very binge worthy. I loved the cast. They were brilliant. Sienna Miller. I don't think I'd seen Sienna Miller in much. But obviously I didn't realize, it took me a minute to realize that Naomi Scott was Naomi Scott. I was like, where do I know her from? And then I was like, oh my God, that's Naomi Scott, because she looks very different to, well, I mean, in Aladdin, where I've seen her. I also love Rupert Friend. He's brilliant. I knew him from The Boy in the Striped Pajamas, where he was a not nice person. And he also has elements of that here. Or there is maybe is he, what is he? Is he good? Is he bad? And I think he plays that line very well throughout the show. I think you're never quite sure where he stands. And I think that's really good. You're not just writing him off like, oh, I don't like him, blah, blah. He's definitely done what they're saying. There is that element of, oh, could it be that it's completely the other way? So I really like that about it. And I get about the story as well, and the whole thing. I really did like that. It kept me guessing. I was like, well, is this actually happening? Is this not happening? Did this happen? Did this not happen? And I think it did a really good job of that. And I think Michelle Dockery as well did a brilliant job in her role. I thought she really, when she had a lot of her scenes, she really commanded the screen with her presence. And I thought she was really brilliant. And so I really enjoyed this series. I think it'll be very popular with a lot of people. And yeah, I think 6 episodes was enough. I felt like it didn't need any more than it had. And so, but yeah, I really, really enjoyed it. So I would definitely recommend you guys, everyone, to watch it at home. What about you, Liam?
Good. Yeah, I also loved it, loved the cast. I thought across the board, all of the actors did a really good job. I could have possibly done with slightly more Naomi Scott, because I was enjoying the performance she was given. But it was still, they didn't give me so little that it was a detraction
Mhm.
from the show. So good time. But yeah, Sienna Miller, really impressed with Sienna Miller. I know obviously Sienna Miller has been having a comeback as of late, where people are starting to appreciate her as an actress, which is something that wasn't done nearing the beginning of her career. So I like to see that. That's good. Yeah, Michelle Dockery,
Dockery.
Dockery. Again, excellent as she always is. Rupert Friend, I wasn't massively aware of Rupert Friend. I did remember him from The Boy in the Striped Pajama, but that was it. So across the board, I really enjoyed it. I loved the way that it was presented. I'm trying. I'm like trying, like, yeah, it's difficult without spoilers.
Yeah.
But the way the story is presented is really interesting, and there's some really, really interesting camera work I found done throughout this that I appreciated while watching it. Also, shout out to whoever picked the locations. Oh, and if these weren't like ready-made locations, shout out to the set design, because fuck my life, these homes were luxurious. Oh, sumptuous. I wanted to melt into them. It made me hate anyone that could live in such exquisiteness. But so yeah, that was what I loved about it. So was there anything you didn't like about it?
I'm trying to think. There was some elements. The ending of the first episode, the way, and I don't know if that maybe that's what you were saying that was in your good parts, but there were parts that kind of confused me in the way that they kind of, like, things happened and you're like, what? Like, that came out of nowhere, in the sense of the way that they, again, it's really difficult to say without spoilers. There's just parts of it that I was like, this particular section feels like it's out of another film. The way that it had been, the way that it was shown on screen. And I, at first, when I first saw particularly that one at the end of towards the end of the first episode, I was like, what has just happened? Because I thought something
that isn't part of my thing that I liked.
Yeah, because that I was like, that came out of nowhere, and there were a couple of other ones like that throughout this, which I think kind of maybe deterred from the story. I kind of see what they were trying to do with it to make it a little bit different. I just don't know if it landed, because I was like, there were parts where I was like, what is going on? Like, this is really confusing, because it kind of, for the most part, plays itself as your traditional, British psychological thriller sort of detective-y show. So when they were doing these other elements, I was like, oh, this is like, takes me out of it a little bit, but not so much that I'm like, oh, I could never watch this. But, and obviously once you guys have seen it, come back and let us know if you felt the same, and you'll know those parts when you see them. But I think mainly for me, that was the main thing. I know that obviously I know some of your issues. So obviously you talk, well, I mean, you could try and talk about them without spoiling it, because I know that some of yours lie within the story.
Yes.
So
oh yeah. I did have some issues with the end of the series. I don't think I'm going to be able to say this without spoilers. So I think I should just leave it as I had issues with the end of the story. I thought things happened and I was like, again. Do we need this? Should we need this? Should we not be showing something different? And I know you yourself, and I know Yutaka didn't have them issues, because for you, what happens after my issues is enough to make up for my issues and is satisfying. And I think it is still satisfying. But I was still like, we could have had both.
Yeah, I understood your side of it, but yeah, it didn't it didn't like bother me as much. I could definitely see, that what you thought would have, I would have liked to have seen that, but I wasn't. It didn't like really ruin the entire thing for me. I was just like, yeah, okay, I
Oh,
get
it
that.
didn't. It didn't.
But, yeah,
It didn't ruin it. It didn't ruin it.
don't twist me words.
Didn't ruin it. It was still like, I still really enjoyed the show overall.
Yeah.
I just had niggly little. Oh.
That's fair.
But apart from that, I didn't really have a problem with anything else. There was, as you mentioned, some like me saying, obviously, in the good part, that there's some really good camera work. On the flip side of that, George is right. There is some very strange camera work. So it was something new. I think both things were quite new in what they were doing. I don't remember seeing it in this type of show, and I think it was a good start. But now they can tweak it based on, obviously, the audience reaction and get a satisfying result in something else going forward, because they'll know like what things worked, what things didn't. So I think that's a good thing.
I think what it gave me when I've been thinking about it more and more is these particular scenes that we're referring to. They gave me Sherlock vibes. Have you seen Sherlock?
Yes.
And there is,
yes.
And that's
okay. I get that.
Yeah. I think they were going for that, but I think I just don't know if it fitted the story.
Yeah. Okay.
So, but
I see that. But yeah, I think this is excellent. Overall, I think it's going to be another hit for David E. Kelley.
Yeah.
So good on him. He's getting what he needs, and he's getting it at every network. Well, every streaming service. So make that money and all that shit. So yeah, I think that's my bad thoughts. So now that we've got it out of the way, George, what rating would you give it?
I'd actually probably give it a 9 out of 10. I think there was just because I really did enjoy in the moment. I really did enjoy. I mean, I'm interested. I definitely want to go back and watch this when it comes out, because I want to sort of, when everyone else is talking about it, to sort of see how everyone else feels. And I would definitely watch this again. Maybe it'll be different after I've seen it. But as I say, I loved. Oh, and the opening song. Like there's
yes,
I was looking for that, and I was like, oh, this isn't even out. I bet this isn't even out yet, because this show's not even out. And I think I found one similar version of it that I think was actually used in another Netflix show or something. I saw it anyway. The opening stuff. There's some great music used within this show. The score's great, but there's some great like actual soundtrack songs. So I really do hope that that's released, because that was so good. But yeah, so I think I would say 9 out of 10. Yeah, there's some elements that I just didn't think worked very well. But for me, after watching that first time, I was like, oh my God, yeah, I can't wait to talk about this. And it's been a while since I don't know about you, but I haven't watched it since it was about probably nearly a month ago when we got the screeners compared to when we're recording now. So
yeah.
But
I can still remember everything very well.
Yeah.
So that is a good sign, because it is about a month ago that we actually watched this.
Yeah.
And I do remember what happened, which is a very rare thing. I'm old. I forget things very easily. So yeah, I would say that's a point to the film.
Yes.
To the series, sorry.
Series. But yeah, so that would be me. What about you?
Yeah, I would say 8.5.
Okay.
Only because I had a slight bit more issue than you with it. But still thoroughly enjoyed it, and my issues wouldn't stop me from watching it again.
No, that's fair. And I think
8.5.
Definitely you guys should check it out when it drops.
Check it out.
On April 15th.
Yes, on Netflix, worldwide, on the interwebs, and your telly, if you have a smart one. So thank you for watching with us today. Don't forget to comment and down below, subscribe, ring the bell so you get notified of all the other goodies that we have. Make sure to check us out on Twitter and Instagram at the Horror Hour TV. We also have merch on Redbubble. Search that out if you would be so kind as to. And I think that's it. So goodbye.
Bye-bye.
You have been listening to the Horror Hour. See you next time.